you might remember the Tank G from that one video where it tried to make me completely deaf and kill me. I hate making videos like that, but today, this new update, using this little PC I have, unfortunately I couldn't use my Mac, really changes the game for the Tank G. We are now going to be able to profile our pedals and turn them into preamp tones. You're going to need a few different things. I'm going to go over this whole process. This is not going to be a short video. You're going to want the pedals that you want to profile. You're going to need 3 cables. You'll need your Tank G, 3/4 inch cables. You'll also need a USB-C cable. You'll need your Tank G, and you'll need an audio interface. I suggest you go grab M-EFCS Software's WavePad suite. It's a really nice suite, and it actually is going to be something that we need here in order to analyze the waveform that we create and make sure that we have no latency. All the links will be down below, of course, in the description box, but you're going to also head over to qvave.com, and you're going to grab the M-EFCS suite, and if you really want to use the chocolate with this, you're going to also grab the Cube Suite editor. Then we're going to head over and grab the M-Upgrade and the SincoAnn software, and then you're going to grab the actual update for the Tank G. You want to grab all of these. You're going to have to extract a bunch of them. If it asks you whether or not you want to keep them, hit keep, because you're going to need them. And then we're going to, here what I'm doing, I'm just kind of extracting everything. I'm putting them in one safe spot, which is going to be my desktop, so you can see them kind of being done, but also so that I'll have quick and easy access to them and I know where they are. So don't forget where you put these files, where you've put the unzipped files of all of these suites. Again, the links will be in the description box. So grab all of these files, download them, and unzip them to somewhere where you're familiar, and you'll be able to remember where they are. All of them are going to be links to files except for one, which is the actual SincoAnn suite. That will be a link to another link, at which you'll have to then download the software suite and the PDF to kind of give you an explanation of what it all is about. So once you download the first SincoAnn link, it'll take you to a mega link, and that's what that'll look like. You'll then have to download the SincoAnn RAR and unzip it in order to access the SincoAnn app and get in and model your pedals. You're going to want to make sure that you do the update to the Tank G before we do any of that kind of stuff. So let's open up the Tank G upgrade app. Now you can plug the Tank G into your computer via the USB-C, and once it's connected, it will recognize it. And then you can check to see which firmware version you have. And you can see right there, I have 46. If you were to not have 46, you could select the firmware and then update the firmware. And if I hit the select firmware button here, I'll be able to pick which firmware, which will be from what I just downloaded, obviously, but there might be an even newer one, and grab that, and it will say whether or not you need to. Once you hit the update firmware button, tells me I don't need to. But having updated it, now I have some really cool options with the chocolate. I can, there's actually several different modes that you can run the chocolate in. Right now I'm going through on and off of the effects. Connected via Bluetooth. You set this up through your phone, which is really great, and set it up via Bluetooth. Now I can take control of the M-Vave chocolate, pick the way that I want to run it. There's several different ways, and the custom mode actually allows you to go up and down through your banks, which is really cool, really convenient. And then I believe, what else does it do? So yeah, and then of course you then still would have to go over and select which patch, but you know, I probably would run it the other way, the first way. The final thing, this is what really makes it so pimpy, is go over to forwardaudio.com, hit the downloads, and grab these. Grab the post-grunge or the modern rock. I got the modern rock and grunge, but the ones that we're going to hear today are from the modern rock free download IRs. They have a ton of IRs, obviously. Grab the packs that are free, Here's a Tank stock IR. And now here's one of the free ones. Yeah, so I like the forward audio stuff a lot. It just totally changes everything. If you really want to also dig in to some more of these preamps, they're already available. Go to the video on M-Vave's YouTube site for the SincoAnn software suite, and you'll see they have a download link that has all of these that they've already grabbed. See, I'm grabbing them now, and I'm going to try them all out. Today, you're not going to hear those. You're just going to hear at the end of the video the two pedals that I captured. So grab those things, put them somewhere safe, and you'll be able to at least mess around and get familiar with downloading the captures into the Tank G. If that's really kind of all you want to mess around with, that's a great, easy way to start. That I cover later in the video. The first thing I'm going to do in the video is actually show you how to set up your interface and your computer and use the SincoAnn suite to take our pedals and turn them into a file that the Tank G can use as a preamp tone. The PDF gets further into the whole process, but I'm going to kind of take a mildly broken up pedal and also a BEOD style pedal. Subscribe and let me know if you guys want to see the Synco connector in action. I have no idea what it does. Ring the bell and you'll get all sorts of notifications from me about when I put up new videos. Thanks, I've done the YouTube thing. So we're going to take input number 1 and jump it out to the left speaker output, okay? So the output from the left side is going into input number 1 of our preamp, or our interface. Now we're going to take our second cable and we're going to plug it into the input number 2. So you need an interface that has at least 2 adjustable trim inputs. That input is going to go to the output of the pedal we want to distort. And then we're going to grab our third cable, and that third cable that we have over here is going to go from the input of the pedal that we're modeling, and it's going to go to the right speaker out. So everything coming from the output on the right side is then going to go into the pedal and then come out and go into interface input number 2. So basically the software is going to see a clean signal and the sound of the pedal, and it works. I mean, it really does. So launch the SincoAnn app, and this is what you're going to see. You're going to pull up your audio settings. This should be the first thing you do. You're going to set up your interface by going to output, selecting the down arrow, and then I have a Focusrite plugged in, and then for my input, same thing. Going to just come down, find the Focusrite. Where is it, Dave? Where is it? There it is, right there. And then you're just going to give a quick look and make sure that these are selected, that you have check marks next to those. Sample rate 4800, and you can do 512, 480. You know, I did the 480 on these. Next thing you're going to do is select your directory. This is going to be where we're saving our files. You see I have a couple of folders already created. Something to know: do not create a folder with spaces in it. If you must kind of make it clear, use underscores. Do not do what I do right here, which is type out letters and then spaces. You will get this error message on the right here. If you do what I'm doing right there, creating a folder, and then you'll be able to save your file there, but it will not train from there. We'll get into that later, but the training process. Just know, don't leave any spaces. So you can test the signal by hitting that test there. You're going to want to make sure your pedal is plugged in. And because Maryland is a recreational state now, I kind of plugged in the wrong pedal, and I created a folder for the 74. So I'm going to now plug in the 74 from Lawrence Petros, which is a great, this pedal is amazing sounding, and it can just do all sorts of different drive sounds. What we want to do is hit the record button, and we're going to want to set our levels and make sure that first, before engaging the pedal, everything is green at our interface. And then we're going to turn on our pedal, and you'll notice that that middle 1. This middle file there that's being created is what we're manipulating as we kind of go through the controls of our pedal. Now, I wanted this to kind of have a little more gain. You can go into the app after training and adjust all sorts of things about the pedal, the tone of the pedal once it's in the Tank G. But for right now, I wanted to kind of get this one at the higher gains, kind of the mid to higher gain setting that it has. So I knew that if I put it too high, you see it turns red there. And so you have to balance the level and then bring your gain up to about where you kind of wanted it. And it's basically, we're just kind of making sure that the interface doesn't clip. And it gives you this big pulse at the beginning that lets you kind of do that and make sure that it's clear and clean. But you also want to let this whole recording just kind of run at least a few times, or at least 1 or 2 times through the entire process, and watch your meters, because your meters might clip out later on. Even if you have the beginning of the file nice and clean, and it's not seeing any kind of red, there's no distortion going into the file, you don't want any extra distortion, you want to clip this out at all. You see, now that I'm leveled out, they're kind of reacting a little differently. Later on in this file, this sends a couple of pulses that will eventually clip that second channel. As you can see, even though I've already set the level at the beginning, so you kind of have to watch it and make sure that what you've done is proper. So once you're good and you know that that whole thing is even, that you're not seeing red anywhere through your pass, you can hit stop or just kind of let it stop. You basically have to hit stop when it's done doing the thing. Hit stop and then hit record again, and you'll get, make sure your pedal's on, you'll get your file. Hit record all over again. You can hit stop and record as many times as you want until you get to the last take where you know you're nice and clean. And you'll end up with a very large WAV file here. And just remember that these are within the ANN folder. You can later move them to wherever you want, but when it creates this folder for you through the ANN software, when you select the training directory, it's going to come up in the ANN folder that we downloaded. So, just remember that. You might have to go looking for them. It's just a little tip. Because I had to go looking for them myself to figure out where they were. So hopefully that helps you out. The next thing we need to do is open the NCH suite, scroll down all the way to the WavePad sound editor, and we need to check for latency. Fortunately, my file didn't have any latency. We're going to open the file that we just created. Remember, it's in the ANN folder, and we have to also, within the software, go, well, as you can see, this kind of swaps around now. The top is the distortion, and the middle is the clean. We want to go up to view, that top view, come down to wave, and hit frequency view, and that will pull open this part of the program. You can go over to the bottom right there and increase the magnification a little bit so that you can see it a little more clearly. Then go to here where the WAV file really starts, and you're going to put your cursor at about the beginning of the WAV file, which is right here, and you're going to compare it to the bottom. Now, I am matched up just right. There could be a latency situation as described in the ANN training software, and they will show you what to do. I recommend going to that video. If you are not matched up real close like this when you zoom in, they will show you how to figure out the offset with the software and then apply that offset properly to the training program. So we're going to go back to our SincoAnn program, and we're going to hit train, the train thing here, and that will give us this next window, this next prompt. I go to 1024 because even though I have a mini computer, it's actually pretty quick and could handle it. You might need to move the batch size down because this does take a lot. This is going to take 1,000 passes at this WAV file and condense it. And then if you have any delay and you figured out what the delay is, that's where you would enter it in the delay area right there. Fortunately, I had 0, didn't have to do any kind of figuring out. And then once you have all this set up and everything's good to go, you can just come down and hit OK. And then it took me 14 hours to make a file. I'd love to hear some of your all's times if you've done this, how much time it actually took you to do it. I went to bed, got up, had coffee, did laundry, went shopping, did all sorts of different things, and ended up having, I've got a couple of files now. Had a good night's sleep knowing that things were working well. Now we want to compare the capture to the actual pedal sound. So take the output of your pedal, plug it to the input of the Tank G, give yourself a cable into the pedal, and that cable is going to go to your guitar. And then out of the Tank G, go to however you're going to monitor it. And you're going to turn on the Tank G to this. Really, you can go to almost any patch at this point, but you want to go to the manual mode and turn off all of the effects except the amp. And then you want to make all of the knobs at noon because we're going to want to hear what it sounds like flat. You don't really have to change the type. And I do recommend kind of turn the gate down just so that you can hear everything cleanly. And you do want to turn the IR off as well. You don't want to hear any affected signal from there. We're comparing the pedal to what's in the Tank G. So hit that link button. This creates the connection between the Tank G and your computer, allowing us to send the file that we just created into the Tank G. I turned off the amp. I don't think I was supposed to right there. Either way, hit the import button, select the file that you want, hit open. I think I'm supposed to have the amp button, right? No, I guess maybe I didn't. Maybe I wasn't supposed to, but I hit send. And it worked. I know that much. And it's the same process. I think maybe I was supposed to have the amp button open. They recommend that in the video. It worked. So there. Either way, if you have the amp on or off, it seems to just send it to the Tank G, but that doesn't mean it's there. We have to actually save it. We can't turn the Tank G off now and be happy. We have to create the name. I'm just going to call it LPD. And then you see below there's this one with a drop-down menu. There's a whole bunch of numbers, but really we're only going to have access in the Tank G to 1 through 8 or 9. I think 1 through 9 in the Tank G. I'm saving this at number 3. I already have the BE tone in number 1, and then I had my first pass at the 74 in number 2. And this is really cool. You can go in and change the minimum and maximum range and even change the cue point. And then if you make any alterations, send it again. So I can open up the mid-range, I can open up the treble, the bass, I can change the cue frequency, you can increase the gain. Or at least the gain range. And then hit send when you do all of these, and then you got to hit save again and da-da-da-da-da. But now, go over to the M-EFCS Software. This is where we tweak. And you can really hear it works. There's the preamp. There's the LPD that we just grabbed. You can hear the IRs really, really make a difference. I mean, it's a massive difference that these IRs have. And the forward audio, the packs, they're huge. My favorite are the tube ones, the ones that have the word tube after it. They each have some designation as to how they were recorded. My favorite right now is I Am the Fredman, the tube version of that. I saved that into number one. I got to tell you that I put in my Boss IR, the IR2, and it just, every amp sounds amazing in the IR2 with that Fredman tube. So you can hear a mild difference. You open your IR file, hit the open IR file, you select the one you want through the folder, open it, and save it to your IR. It's simple as that. You save it to whichever slot. You have to kind of remember though, because once you're out of the software, you're not going to have any reference to any of this. In the description below, I will have a link to the Google Drive that has both of these files for you. Then you can go over to Save Preset to save it to whichever one of the slots within that bank that you want. You can even go over to that lit up section there and change the foot switch color. Now I know that one's a little bit hotter. And you can have a blue and a red. Of course, I didn't hit save at that point because, yeah, Maryland's recreational. Yeah. Unfortunately, the update did not fix this audio dip thing that happens. Like when you change presets, it still just does that. I guess if you had two Tank Gs, you could have one that just has like the distortion or your drive, your kind of boosty thing like I'm doing here with the 74, and then have it going into another Tank G that then has your main kind of amp thing. Because this sounds so natural. Got so much more feel now.